We saw a lot of major changes in 2021 at SMECO, and just trying to pivot through those were pretty challenging. We had changes in our political climate, bringing people back into the workforce after the pandemic. Energy prices just skyrocketed in 2021 and have carried over into 2022, so trying to deal with that has been a major challenge. 2020 was different from 2021 because we had a lot of businesses that shut down as a result of the pandemic. So that drove down energy prices to the point where we had two rate decreases to reflect the decreased price of energy. So when things started to open back up, demand for items increased. Supply chains adjusted to the increased demand in 2021, and the mismatch in supply and demand, along with other domestic and global influences, drove inflation and created a steep rise in commodity price. SMECO uses a power cost adjustment when prices either increase or decrease, because those are just pass-through costs. Our commodity costs that we pay is what we charge to our member. Power cost adjustment is used to reflect market conditions and help smooth the impact on members. So our power cost adjustment began to increase in May, and when it increases for 3 months in a row, either plus or minus 5% of what our residential rates are, then we have to file for a rate adjustment. So we adjust our base rate, reduce our power cost adjustment, and move that into the base rates. So after 3 months of rising prices, we would file with the Public Service Commission to increase that base rate. And we did that in August of 2021. SMECO uses a managed portfolio approach to purchasing power. We don't buy everything at once. We stagger the purchases that we make so that we can take advantage of prices when they're lower. We can make a power supply purchase when prices are lower. We only hedge up to 80% of what we need, so that leaves the other 20% open to market pricing. Our power prices are really based upon what the natural gas market is normally charging. So when natural gas prices are up, power supply costs are up. I think the future looks really bright for SMECO and the industry in general. Things are shifting. What our members expect from us is changing. They want to do business with us when they want to do business, in the way they want to do business. So we want to offer them all the opportunities to interact with us in whichever manner they choose, whether it be online, by telephone, mobile apps. One day you'll be able to say, Alexa, I want to pay my SMECO bill. So those are the types of things we're looking at, trying to make it easier for our customers to do business with us. SMECO's members, its owners, are the core of the cooperative, and their satisfaction drives the cooperative's decision-making and advancements. SMECO puts members first and strives to be their trusted energy advisor.
So a unique facet of cooperatives that distinguish it from other types of organizations is the allocation of capital credits. Capital credits work when a member-owned organization shares financial responsibility with its members. A member will use SMECO services and allow the organization to keep funds collected in excess of operating costs. Each year, SMECO margins are allocated to a customer member's accounts that are set up especially to receive these allocations based on the amount of electricity they've used and the rate at which they've been billed. In 2021, SMECO refunded $6.6 million in capital credits. $4.2 million of that was in the form of a general refund to current and former members. $2.4 million of that was in the form of special refunds, including to the estates of deceased members. To date, SMECO has refunded over $116 million in capital credit refunds. Accrued capital is used to fund general operations, to maintain facilities, and to increase and improve reliability on the system.
The cooperative's grid performance consistently exceeds Maryland PSC requirements. SMECO constantly monitors, maintains, and upgrades the electric grid to ensure safe, reliable power to our members. In 2021, SMECO completed many transmission and distribution capital improvement projects to ensure and improve reliable service. These include one new substation and transformer replacements at several other substations. The cooperative energized the new Mount Victoria substation near Newburgh in 2021. We also broke ground for a new substation in Chaptico, which should be energized in 2022. Mount Victoria is a larger, more modern substation that replaced two outdated substations in southern Charles County. This new substation provides additional capacity in this area and a better contingency backup to the Tompkinsville substation. Mount Victoria ties into an existing 69 kV transmission line that connects the La Plata substation to a substation at GenOn's generating plant in Morgantown. The new Chaptico substation will provide more capacity and more reliable service in the Chaptico area. As part of an aging infrastructure replacement program, in 2021, we proactively replaced transformers at substations in Lexington Park, St. Charles, Ridge, and Piney Point before they failed. By proactively replacing equipment before it fails and adding new facilities, SMECO ensures reliable power for its members. Another key component of reliable power is a well-trained and talented workforce, which we certainly have.
SMECO has 124 line workers that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Right now we have between 10,000 and 11,000 miles of electric line in our service area. The job requires technical training, on-the-job training, hands-on learning throughout the program. Well, line work is a very dangerous job, so they have to make sure that the processes are done right. If they aren't, someone could make a mistake, they don't go home at the end of the day. SMECO's apprenticeship program is 4 years, and it's over 7,000 hours. We hire groups as we need it for the workforce, how it changes. In 2021, we hired a new apprenticeship program. It was Group 24. There were 15 employees. SMECO has plenty of experienced line workers and employees that work at SMECO that help out with the training program. The apprenticeship program, when they go through the training, is out in a training yard in a controlled environment. But when they work under a chief or a serviceman out in the field under real life situations, that's where you get your experiences of being a lineman.
As of 2021, we had 104 employees eligible to retire here at the cooperative. That's over 22% of our workforce, and we anticipate that number growing over the next 5 years due to the aging of our workforce. SMECO is fortunate that we've had a lot of employees that have been here for a very long time, 20, 25, some 30 years. And with that comes an enormous amount of knowledge, and we need to transfer that knowledge to the key employees. That is the biggest risk and what makes succession planning a key focus here for SMECO. Ensuring a smooth transition requires identifying key roles and employees for succession groups. To do this, we will be leading targeted training opportunities as well as establishing mentoring communities in order to prepare employees for position readiness. All positions at the cooperative are important, and knowledge transfer is important at all levels. But one area in particular that SMECO is focusing on is our engineering department. We're currently hiring all levels of engineers, entry level to manager level. Reliable systems require solid engineering. The industry is quickly changing, and building out that breadth of knowledge to ensure the next 30 to 40 years we're able to really provide that reliable service is key. The industry is quickly shifting and changing as we speak, and hiring additional engineers will allow us to continue our efforts towards sustainability and environmental stewardship.
SMECO members want increased reliability and sustainability in the face of climate change. They care about where the power comes from, and they care about how it impacts their environment. This care is mirrored both locally and internationally. The Glasgow Climate Pact was signed by 197 world leaders in 2021 at the United Nations. Locally, the state of Maryland established a goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2045 as a part of its Greenhouse Gas Reduction Act plan. The state of Maryland implemented a renewable standard, or RPS, requiring electric utilities to include a certain percentage of renewable energy in their power portfolio. The cooperative is committed to the protection and preservation of natural resources. SMECO complies with the state's RPS and remains committed to developing new sources of renewable energy, adding more wind and more solar to its power portfolio every year. SMECO works with state legislators and other utilities to craft policies that provide a framework for sound environmental practices, progressive benchmarks, and cost-effective goals for renewable energy procurement. SMECO also meets with the Maryland Public Service Commission working groups to develop programs that make sense for its members. And the cooperative also works with its customer members individually to help them save energy and save money through Empower Maryland. The cooperative makes it easy for members to learn about solar power and to have net meters installed. As of December 31st, 2021, we had more than 7,100 SMECO members have interconnected renewable solar systems. SMECO is also involved in a 5-year project to install up to 60 public electric vehicle charging stations in Southern Maryland to support the growing population of EV owners. There are over 2,000 electric and hybrid vehicles registered in the SMECO service territory. EV ownership has jumped over 50% since the fall of 2020. By 2025, 18,000 EVs are expected to be on our local roads. There seems to be a lot of interest. SMECO has held 2 EV meet and greets to give customer members who are interested in an EV a chance to look at those EVs and to meet their owners to ask questions about how they use their EVs. Our members are important to us, and sharing knowledge on things that our members are interested in is our way of showing our commitment to caring.
SMECO is invested in the community it serves. Cooperative employees are your neighbors and friends, and most are members too. During the pandemic, SMECO assisted county, state, and federal authorities by installing the necessary infrastructure to ensure the mass vaccination center at Regency Furniture Stadium could open by March 4 and serve the public. SMECO employees are committed to the community and give back with their time and money. Local 1718 of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which represents SMECO's bargaining unit employees, teamed up with SMECO and donated $5,000 to the Clemens Cuties Foundation for their efforts against childhood cancer. Each year, the men of the Clemens Cuties dress as women for a charity softball game against the All-Stars from St. Mary's County's Over 30 Women's League. In 2021, they raised money to help 2 young boys who were fighting cancer. Cooperative employees also raised $45,600 through the SMECO annual golf tournament. SMECO selects different organizations each year to benefit from its fundraising events. In 2021, SMECO selected the Southern Maryland Food Bank as a fundraising recipient because the food bank provides services to individuals and families who need support for everyday living. And the food bank is a part of a network of organizations that serve the entire Southern Maryland community. Helping Southern Maryland families who need assistance with putting food on the table is vital to providing adults and children with basic necessities.
As a cooperative, SMECO also lends a hand to other cooperatives, our neighbors in Maryland, in Virginia, and Delaware. The Mid-Atlantic region faced waves of snow and ice storms in February, and the electric cooperatives in Virginia were hit especially hard. After we restored power to Southern Maryland, 24 SMECO workers went to Virginia to help restore power. They spent 4 days repairing the damage to the power lines while enduring rain and ice. Challenging times come and go, and SMECO will be here to help its community and neighbors weather any storm.